dharmic, I think so, from what I know.
Yeah. Yeah, they became the Druids. The Brahmins who went with the Kshatriyas became the Druids, and the Druids themselves were Druids. They were also Celts, and and also the Celts and the
Narnarayan,
yeah,
your video is breaking up.
it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Is it still breaking up?
Not anymore.
Okay. The Gauls, and the Gauls were so pervasive that when the Kshatriyas were kicked out, they became Gauls, and the Brahmins became Druids. You know, like the Star Wars sort of guy, and it went so far all over. Like Charles de Gaulle was and the word Gaelic comes from the Gauls that were Kshatriyas kicked out. The Irish had Gauls, Gaelic, the Scottish, and then it went as far as the other side of the Mediterranean to for the Galatians. So the Galatians were also Gauls that were kicked out of the Kshatriyas who were kicked out of
So
India.
devotee called Abhimanyu joined in it.
I'm sorry?
Devotee called Abhimanyu joined in.
Okay.
Okay, Abhimanyu Prabhu, maybe you can introduce yourself. It's your first time joining us on Zoom, Prabhu? Abhimanyu Prabhu. Maybe he can introduce himself if he likes. Okay.
Ask join.
All right, he's muted. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, Hare
Oh, he
Krishna.
said Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you want to speak,
Well, let's not boil him on oil. Let's include him.
right. Right. All right, he left.
We should, we should question them, and if they're not responding, we should continue with our discussion. You know, so they'll hear it.
Okay, so Bhanu Prabhu, I'll share the screen and we'll start our discussion.
Yeah.
Or are you gonna share? Oh, Bhanu Prabhu, why don't you share so I can monitor?
Sure.
It's
About
in
this,
it's in compilations from Srila Prabhupada. This is number 13.
You can't do it?
the new Veda base library?
Yeah, 2018 or 2019.
Not the original one, right?
Not the original one, yes.
Okay. Okay, in that way?
Number
book.
13.
Okay.
See it?
Yeah.
Try. Okay.
You guys, there's some really nice memoirs of Gargamuni Prabhu on Facebook. Have you had a chance to see them?
Memoirs. Yeah.
Like videos, like interviews with Gargamuni.
Is it a recent one or has it been posted for a while already?
Well, there's like a bunch of them, like over the last couple of years that he's uploaded.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I've seen those. Yes. Those, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty nice, huh? Yes, he's in Vrindavan.
Yes. Yes.
He's posting videos?
Yeah, Gargamuni's been posting videos, yes. He told me, I had some questions. He said, come here and ask me.
Yeah, he's got a nice place there. Me and Narnarayan visited him.
Oh, you visited him, acha.
Yeah, this was back in 2008.
7.
No, 2008.
Oh, 2008.
Or actually, it might have been the end of 2007.
I thought we crossed over from 2007 to 2008, but maybe not.
Yeah. But anyway, that was before Brahmananda passed away.
Oh, acha,
Oh,
acha,
yeah.
Brahmananda.
It was after or before?
It was before he passed away. I got to meet him.
Yeah. Now, he became so incredibly obese. If he had not become so obese, he probably would still be alive.
Yeah.
He was a big dude, huh? He was probably one of the biggest persons in. No, right, Prabhu? Was it a big guy? Man Singh
Big?
style? Yeah, meaning
No,
like,
no, just heavy.
oh, just heavy. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he was
Who?
probably around close to 6 feet tall. What would you say, Rupa?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe 5'11". Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about?
Oh, we were just talking about Garga Muni's brother, Brahmananda Prabhu.
Mm-hmm. He's also initiated by Prabhupada.
Yeah, they got initiated 66, right? Narayana Prabhu, or 67?
Brahmananda was his first disciple.
Oh, Brahmananda. Acha. I thought Kirtanananda was the first disciple. No, it was Brahmananda.
Well, Brahmananda and Achyutananda were the first to meet Prabhupada in Tompkins Square Park. And Prabhupada had been homeless for a year and nothing was going in his favor. And he just started playing kartals under this tree, and he closed his eyes and was chanting. And when he opened his eyes, Achyutananda and Brahmananda were there, and they were dancing.
Hmm.
And I think that was before Kirtanananda, but maybe he met Kirtanananda before that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, Kirtananda came in later because the way it worked, I don't know who was in Tompkins Square Park, but I think Prabhupada said I saw boys and girls. He was ready to get back on the Jaladuta and leave. He said, I'm going to chant for 3 hours. I will open my eyes. Whatever I see will determine whether I get back on, because the Jaladuta came into the New York Harbor every month or so. And so he would go down there and look yearningly at it and then say, nope, I'll try another month, because nothing was working out for him. So he said, I'll sit under the tree. And he sat under the tree with his kartals and chanted. And he chanted for 3 hours without stopping. He said, I will open my eyes, and whatever I will see will determine whether I leave or stay.
So Andrew Ananda Prabhu joined.
Oh, great. All glory to Arjuna. And when Prabhupada opened his eyes, he said, this is pretty close to his exact words, I saw boys and girls, and they were dancing. You know, hippie boys and girls, but they were dancing. And I sat there, and then they came over and said, are you from India, etc.? I said, I'm a Swami. Oh, Swami, so where's your place? Where do you have your center? We'd love to come and hear more about what you have to say. And he said, I have no center. I'm living in the YMCA. He said, oh, and Gargamuni then arranged, I believe, to get that 26 Second Avenue, and also later, and then everybody that joined slept with Prabhupada in that storefront. And then they got him an apartment upstairs, and then everybody continued to sleep in the storefront. But Kirtanananda only came after Prabhupada had already established a reputation in the hippie society of the East Village, because Prabhupada was, it's in the East Village, so, you know, where the Village Voice newspaper is published and all that. And so they were all there, and Kirtananda was sort of like the local philosopher. And people would come to him, and he would give them mind-boggling concepts to think about. So they were considered, that he was considered to be their local pot-smoking homosexual guru, you know. And they said, well, why don't you come and meet the Swami? Because they wanted to see the showdown and see what would happen. So Tirthananda was pretty confident, and he went down with his couple of his followers, of which Avagriva was obviously one, and he went down there to the 26th Avenue, which was probably walking distance. I don't remember how far it was. And he sat down, and by the time Prabhupada finished, Tirthananda was completely defeated. And so he very quickly became a disciple and initiated. So that's that. So he came afterwards. I don't know if Brahmananda or Gargamuni, it doesn't matter Gargamuni and Brahmananda, but probably could be Brahmananda. But whoever it was hanging out in the park, and apparently there was one or more ladies. So the impression I had, and I could be wrong, and you can look up the exact quote from Prabhupada, and he says what was there when he opened his eyes. I thought he said there was men, boys and girls, and they were dancing. But maybe some hippies were joining in and dancing. Who knows? But
I heard that it was Brahmananda and Achyutananda, those two.
It could be, but I think there was, well, maybe the women were just hippie girls who were in the park also, if they were dancing.
All right, so should we read this?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Fine,
Keep
fine.
going. Bhanu Prabhu, should we start from why is Varnashram important? Let's start from the beginning. Yes. Prabhu Manjari Prabhu, you're the best reader, so I think you and Narayan Prabhu.
What makes you say that?
I say that.
We say it, not I say
They
it.
say it.
Okay, so should I read this then?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, why is Varnashram important? Srila Prabhupada explains that Varnashram dharma is the only system of social organization which enables a person of any class to discharge his occupational duty as a form of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus fulfilling the ultimate goal of life. Here it is clearly stated that there are many types of Jagya performances recommended in the Vedic literatures, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Jagya means Vishnu. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should only work for satisfying Jagya or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization known as Varnashram dharma is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Bhagavad Gita 9:24 purport.
This is from the Prabhupada on Varnashram?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very important point, huh? It's the only system of social organization which enables a person of any class to discharge his occupational duty as a form of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus fulfilling the ultimate goal of life. Very powerful statement.
Should we scroll down?
Manu Prabhu, let's scroll down.
Translation. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. Purport. Human society all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life. The 4 castes are the intelligent caste, the martial caste, the productive caste, and the laborer caste. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life. Otherwise, no social institution can grow in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above-mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. This institutional function of human society is known as the system of Varnashram dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life. The Varnashram institution is constructed to enable one to realize the absolute truth. It is not for artificial domination of one division over another. When the aim of life, i.e., realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for indriya priti or sense gratification, as already discussed here and before, the institution of the Varnashram is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. In the Kali Yuga, or in the age of quarrel, this artificial predominance is already current, but the saner section of the people know it well that the divisions of castes and orders of life are meant for smooth social intercourse and high thinking self-realization, and not for any other purpose. Herein, the statement of Bhagavatam is the highest aim of life, or the highest perfection of the institution of the Varnasrama dharma, is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd Chapter, text number 13.
Well, that's wonderful. Could I ask, by the way, could I ask the pages in that book that you just read? Because I want to go over them after the class.
No, Prabhu, these don't have
No.
pages because it's a soft copy and they scanned it in. So the pages are not there.
Well, is there any way to identify where in the book it is?
You'll just have to look and remember from probably the
Well,
first.
I have to say, it's not at the beginning and not in the middle.
Oh, chapter 1. Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Varnasrama dharma, chapter 1.
Okay, and how far down the page of chapter
Probably
1?
one page.
Is it the same book? It's not the same book. It's I don't think so.
Okay, so it's
Compilation.
all on page 1 of chapter 1?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's go to the second quote. Bhanu Prabhu, scroll down. Should we have discussions on it too? Because, the questions, or should we just read through it and come back again?
Well, if we come back again, you have to read the whole thing again. It's
We should
really,
discuss on it.
it reads very well. And if we discuss it, it will be a very good discussion. So what do you think?
Yeah, because people are probably watching this on Facebook and YouTube, so that will spark some questions in their minds. And in this
Okay.
way,
Well, maybe why not just go, how many pages do you have lined up?
we can read, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages or 2 or 3 pages. Where did
Okay,
they group
so
from
when you
Jerry
finish the 2 pages, let's go back and start discussing the line by line or topic by topic.
Yes. Okay, so we're starting from the beginning. Social organization. So Varnashram relates directly to social organization, which is in the American society. Is there social organization or no?
What?
There's an organization, but it's a little bit deviated. It's not like we have Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but like there's definitely like the
Who?
like he's asking if there is a social institution in America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Except that all the Shudras are trying to go to get a degree in IT so they can become Brahmins. Brahmins are doing IT instead of guiding human society. Oh, they're taking over human society like Facebook and all those. I mean, it is a perversion because the Brahmin is the conceptual level, the Kshatriya is the military level, the Vaishya is the agricultural level, and the Shudra is the enabling level, the one that makes things happen by dint of hard work. So we have all of that, but it's all messed up. For instance, well, it's all messed up, dude. I mean, it doesn't require explanation. I mean, you can see for yourself how the 4 Varnas are present and messed up, correct? Or does it need explanation?
So you're saying, Narayan Prabhu, you're saying that the Brahmins, which have the brains and intellectual capacity, they are making software and working for all these big institutions, while the Shudras
Right.
while the Shudras want their position, or they want to compete with each other? Is that what you're
Well, I
saying?
mean, they should. A carpenter is a carpenter. An auto mechanic's an auto mechanic. A plasterer is a
labor, isn't it?
plasterer. A gardener is a gardener. But what happens with the Brahmins, the perversion is the Vaishyas are in charge. They are the businessmen. They are the Wall Street. They are the corporations.
Okay.
Perverted, completely bloated, completely shamelessly exploiting the other classes. And so what do the Brahmins do? Instead of the Brahmins advising the Kshatriyas, which they don't, the Brahmins go and advise and become slaves of the Vaishyas.
Acha.
And the Shudras are the slaves of the Vaishyas as well. And the Kshatriyas do whatever the Vaishyas say, because unless the Vaishyas vote for more weapons, the Kshatriyas have no weapons to use. So it's all being, the Vaishyas have taken over the whole society and perverted it and corrupted it to the degree that you can see by looking out the window. It's just like, why should a businessman be in charge of a restaurant like McDonald's? They do it so that the people have become the product of McDonald's. They go there and they buy, and that is a bing in the stock market of McDonald's. So the more bings you get, the more people will invest in McDonald's. That's all it is. They don't care about people. They don't care about the nutrition. They don't care about feeding. They don't even care about convenience. They go for convenience so that people won't cook at home. But the actual fact is, the Vaishyas are controlling all of that. And who works at McDonald's? Shudras.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They have subdivisions within the corporations of all of the what do you call it? The
Companies?
the Varnas. You know, because you have the people ruling the corporation, then you have the people who are in charge of all the trade, the commerce, and then you have the security, and then you have the laborers within the corporation.
So we have
Yeah,
new devotees joining in.
but the basic fact is that the corporations are slaves of the Vaishyas. The corporation manufactures an automobile, but the Vaishyas invest on the stock market of that company. And if they invest, they get to control what the company does. They get to control what the workers get paid. I could give a quick example that when Home Depot opened up, they had created stock options for all the workers and everything like that. It was very nice when it was a private company. People were just going crazy. It was so nice. But then they went public. And then the stockholders said, why are you giving so much money to the workers? Well, they're working hard. They're doing a good job, and we can afford to give it to them. But wait a minute. Walmart is not paying that much. The other companies are not paying. They said, you're taking, as investors, we put our money in on the stock market without doing a lick of work, except push a computer key. We are investing, and that's our money, not for the worker. The worker should get less money, and when he's getting small enough money, then he will get food stamps, and the government will pay for his food. So it means the government will be paying, the taxpayers will be paying for the workers in Home Depot and Walmart. In Walmart, that's what they do. They're all on Disneyland also is all on food stamps, and homeless people are working, believe it or not. But then in Walmart, they get paid so little, they can't live on it, so they get food stamps. And then where do they spend the food stamps? At Walmart. So you see, that's what the Vaishyas want. The stock market Vaishyas want. Keep them down to where they have nothing, let the government pay, and we will take our money, because our money, meaning if it's a flea and he's on a dog, which it's like very similar to, when the flea is on the dog, he is sucking the blood from the dog. That's my blood. That's my blood. I get to drink it. but the dog is going to die. So many dogs. So what happens then in 2007, Barack Obama comes in disguising his being black as being a solution to some problems. And he then takes taxpayer money and pays off all the debts that the banks created. And the stock market guys who created the corruption to begin with, they get their multi-million-dollar bonuses. They don't get, they should have been taken to the city square and shot with a firing squad. But no, the Vaishyas are controlling the Brahmins and controlling the Shudras and controlling the Vaishyas, because they're not even quite Vaishyas. They are exploiting the Vaishyas as well. So that's what we have. So that is what must come to an end.
Yes.
Okay,
We have Anushka Mataji joining us, new devotee.
Who?
Anushka Mataji,
Who is that?
a new devotee.
Oh, how nice. Welcome, Prabhu.
Hey, I wasn't gonna say, isn't it also the case that certain like Kshatriyas are acting as Vaishyas because like you have the military industrial complex and just these ruling class people are running giant corporations. Couldn't it also be said that that's also true?
Who are you asking?
I guess I'm asking everyone.
Well, could you repeat your?
Can you say the question again?
Does somebody want to answer?
Isn't it also that in certain cases, Kshatriyas are acting in the position of Vaishyas and using the corporations as a way to rule over the political climate, the social climate?
The Vaishyas are not supposed to rule anything. They are supposed to run the economy.
As Vaishyas, using the corporations as a way to rule over the people, to control policy.
But the corporations are not really they are supposedly the Vaishyas. The corporations are supposedly the Vaishyas, right?
Supposedly, but I don't think it's.
I know, but we don't have to worry about that. We are establishing Dava Varnashram to cure the disease that you're mentioning. Okay. So let's work with the cure more than the disease. We recognize the disease, then we give the cure.
So here it is said that that Varnasrama is a yajna. So how is it a yajna? Can we discuss on it?
How is Varnasrama yajna?
What did he ask?
How is Varnasrama a yajna?
Because you're making a sacrifice. You're putting in the labor and you're farming the land and creating vegetables and getting milk from cows, and this is a sacrifice to please the Lord.
It's all for Krishna's pleasure, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
So satisfying Yajna or Vishnu, right? It's like Varnashram dharma is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. So a question is raised here. Varnashram dharma is especially meant for satisfying Vishnu, but what is Daivi Varnashram? Daivi Varnashram and Varnashram dharma, isn't it both to satisfy Lord Vishnu?
Say that question one more time.
It's saying here at the last sentence, it's saying Varnashram dharma is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And then
everything that you offer to the Lord, let's say Lord Jagannath, is being offered to Vishnu.
No, that's not my question. My question is, Varnashram dharma is for satisfying Vishnu. Then what is Devi Varnashram?
Daiva Varnashram?
Daiva Varnashram.
Okay, Daiva Varnashram or Devi Varnashram, I don't know which is the more correct. Both of them are used. This Varnashram structure is not the same as the Vedic Varnashram. The Vedic Varnashram, I have said a million times, but the Vedic, not a million times, quite a few times, the Vedic Varnashram is designed to bring people to a higher material platform of life. Everyone, the Kshatriyas, the Kshatriya wants to die in battle and go to the sun planet. Everybody wants to go to Indraloka. Everybody wants to go higher and take a higher birth in the material universe. There's no question of leaving the material universe. The Varnashram dharma was in order to make an orderly progression upward instead of a hazardous progress downwards, which is what Kali Yuga has produced for us.
So next
Everyone
question.
is going. Okay, so the answer to your question is that Daiva Varnashram is transcendental to the Vedic culture.
So Daivi
Prabhupada said it's
Varnashrama means Varnashrama plus Krishna conscious, does it?
the Kanishta Adhikari in Daiva Varnashram dharma is higher than the Brahmin of yesteryear, because he's cultivating Krishna consciousness. Aham Brahma. The secret is Aham Brahmasmi.
Well, what is the distinction here? Varnashram for satisfying Vishnu and Daivi
Yeah.
Varnashram, that's also satisfying Vishnu, no?
Oh,
It's the
what
same
is he
thing.
saying?
It's the same thing. Okay. That's what I was looking for. It's simple. It's the same thing. She answered.
Well, it may or may not be the same thing. I don't know what Prabhupada is. He says Varnashram or Daiva Varnashram. If he says Varnashram and he's in a conversation about Daiva Varnashram, he's undoubtedly speaking about Daiva Varnashram, right?
So
No,
Mohan
yes.
Prabhu and Matthew Prabhu have joined us.
Haribo,
Hare Krishna.
John,
We got more
Very
what
devotees.
is the
So
Daiva Ashram? What does that mean?
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Deva means divine. So you could say that Varnashram Dharma without Daiva Varnashram Dharma is just like classical Indian caste system before the British got there, like when it was actually a just system, but it was not a Krishna consciousness based farming institution. Whereas Deva, the word means divine. That adds Krishna consciousness, like Banu was saying, you add Krishna consciousness to it.
Okay.
So it
Hello.
basically means dovetailed Varnashram.
Ramakrishna. Hare Krishna. Hello.
Dovetail Varnashram. I mean, that is already Varnashram. The satisfying Lord Vishnu. So, dovetail Varnashram. Okay, I think we'll look that up just to make sure. Right? That's a good question. Unless someone, Rupa Manjari Prabhu answered it, that it's the same thing. All right.
So don't you think we should not compare the caste system with the Varnashram system, right? Because Varnashram system is written in our Vedas, in our scriptures. It should not be compared with the caste system, right? It's totally
Well, the
unfair.
current
It's
current
the
caste
correct-
system has become
modern-
the
perverted.
Daiva Varnashram separates itself because the caste system was so-called as Varnas. British came in with emphasizing the word caste, and
Yeah.
the Hindus gobbled it up out of necessity.
They
But we are not the disciples of the British; we're disciples of Prabhupada.
Exactly.
So the so-called the Varnas are simply all in Daiva Varnashram Dharma, which we're discussing. The Varnas are all initiated Kanishta Adhikari disciples of Srila Prabhupada for the end of until the end of Kali Yuga and until the end of the 2,000 years of golden age of Kali. Everyone who joins our Varnashram will be initiated disciple of Prabhupada, not to be confused with a Shudra in the old Vedic culture, which was a low birth. There are no low births in Daiva Varnashram. Everyone is equal. Aham Brahmasmi. What does Tiksha mean? It means Aham Brahmasmi. It means I am recognized as spirit soul. I recognize you as spirit soul, regardless of what you do for a living. So the thing is that we must consider or bring ourselves to the point of realizing that Daiva Varnashram is a platform on which everyone is equal, but working according to their capacity. As Karl Marx put it, and Prabhupada adopted the word,
From each according.
spiritual communism. He said the principle of communism, which Marx got from the Ramayana, essentially, is from each according to his ability. So the Vaishya has ability, the Kshatriya has ability, Brahmin has ability, the Shudra has ability. From each according to his ability, what he can actually genuinely do without pretending and faking it. To each according to his need. So a hungry Vaishya will eat more than a skinny Brahmin. No, the Brahmin should have more food because he's higher caste. No, he doesn't do that. Everyone gets according to his need, not according to his greed. And that's why in the Vedic society, our Vedic society, Varnasrama, no money, no cash, no business. Prabhupada was asked about that. Well, farming and also business. And Prabhupada said, no nonsense business. He said that. So business is nonsense. Of course, to begin with, when we're starting a Varnashram community, maybe business will be there, but it cannot continue. It has to be reduced to nil, brought down to nothing, because our business is not business. Our duty is not business. Our duty is to live in the embrace of Mother Cow, drinking the milk from the breast of Mother Cow, and then providing goodness for every member of society by producing grains and clothes and jewelry, all the things that people will get a job to try to be able to afford to buy. No charge distributed, no cash, no charge. You get if you need it. If a woman needs a sari, she gets a sari.
Okay, no, Prabhu. Let's move on,
Yes.
Prabhu.
What about the
Sure.
government demand for taxes?
But you understand those distinctions. First,
Yes.
do you understand those distinctions?
Yes.
Good, let's move on.
Okay, anyone have any other points they want to
Yeah.
say or discuss?
How would you resolve the government's demand for taxes?
If it's a nonprofit, then they don't get taxed.
Okay.
And if you don't make any money, cash, what are they going to do? Ask for a basket of tomatoes?
Jai. Yes.
That's the beauty of it. We become invisible to human society, to the organized human demoniac society that is out of control. Vaishyas exploiting everybody, as Karl Marx noted. We become innocent. We have no money and we're making everything ourselves. They say, don't you want a cash gift from the government? No, thank you. We're doing fine without it.
Excellent.
Of course, initially we might accept a cash gift, but not in principle and not in the end.
Bhanu Prabhu, anything you want to discuss or make a point?
Carry on.
Okay,
Could
let's
we read?
We can
Yes,
highlight
let's
some
read.
things from the over here, and we can discuss on it.
Okay.
That will.
So where are we going to start from again? Bhanu Prabhu, where are we?
Yeah.
How many years is it exactly till the end of the golden age of Kali?
Well, Narayan, do you count it beginning from when Krishna left, or do you count it from
Oh, no.
Lord Chaitanya?
Lord
Lord
Chaitanya.
Chaitanya.
Lord Chaitanya, 10,000, right?
500, but how many? 500 and how many years? You have to sort of know when Lord Chaitanya was born.
So 9,500 years.
It was
Exactly?
1585, I
No.
think so, from when Lord Chaitanya came.
9,400 and something years. Because we say he appeared 500 years ago. Well, what year did he appear? I can calculate it myself.
Google it, someone.
What year?
I'll Google it.
Okay.
No, bro. The issue is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came into on this earth 500 years ago, right? And this Kali Yuga, this Ant of this will carry on till 10,000 years, right? And we are in the mid of it. Hello.
What is-
10,000 years. 10,000 years
Well,
of golden age.
10,000 years from say the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
We don't have
And
to
he was
be
born.
super accurate, but it would help if we're somewhat accurate.
He was born 500 years ago, approx, right? True. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. was- He was
No, we're trying to get the exact date.
1486. He was born.
1486, right? Right.
Yeah.
Approx 500 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So what's 10,000 minus 1486?
535. Oh,
535. Oh,
no, sorry.
sorry.
9535. 9535. 9,535.
What?
So it's
9,000?
it's been 465 years.
How come?
So how many more
465?
years? So there's 9,465 years until the end of the golden age of Kali? Is that correct?
9,535.
Yes, exactly. 9,000.
What's the 465?
That's
Oh,
the amount of years that have elapsed since Chaitanya's birth.
Okay. And so the next, so what did you say, Rupaji?
9,535 years.
How can it be that many years? Oh, 9,525. Yeah, right. So it's elapsed. So 465 years have elapsed since Lord Chaitanya was here.
Since his
Bro,
birth.
what-
Huh?
How many years
Since-
was
Since his birth.
how many
Since his
years was
birth.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on this earth?
Why
How
do we
many
say
years?
Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years ago?
I think we should continue reading this one and then we can discuss. Pitu Maharaj, sole aim is ruling his kingdom.
No, Prabhu is changing the topic. Let's come to the point.
Okay. So
Prabhu was just one question, curious question. What was the age when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his material body?
What material body?
spiritual. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has the material body. That's a tricky thing you said.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Google
yeah.
it out. Google it out.
Yes.
Exactly.
Google it. Okay. Done. Sorry for the word. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
We're thinking according to our bodily conception of life.
People
Okay.
saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walk
Well,
with people and no one saw him walk out.
as the League for 10,000 K continues on, we will become more and more precise between spiritual, material, and what is said by Prabhupada to people, what Prabhupada said, what people said to Prabhupada. We'll read it, but we will not base our life on it. We base our life on its instructions, not on what was said here and there, because that's all
Go ahead.
horizontal.
Go and
Prabhupada
Bhanu
only spoke, Prabhupada speaking to his disciples was based on their misunderstanding. So when they ask a question, we don't have to get too caught up in it. What we need to do is understand the original instruction and
Okay.
say, okay, the original instruction, how do we follow it? Was it ever followed? Oh, I see, they followed it for 6 months and they started branching off, huh? And then they turned it into years, and then they turned it into decades, and whatever. Oh yeah, they wandered off because they never bothered to check what he asked for.
Okay, let's
They
continue
never
reading.
obeyed his original instructions. So let's keep going, yeah?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Matthew Prabhu, you want to read this one from here?
Okay. Prithu Maharaj's sole aim in ruling his kingdom was to raise the citizens to the standard of God consciousness. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that the entire Varnashram institution is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The rules and regulations set up for the execution of the duties of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, or Brahmacharis, Grihastas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis, are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. At the present moment, although the so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras have lost their original culture, they claim to be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras by birthright. Yet they have rejected the proposition that such social and spiritual orders are especially meant to worship the Lord Vishnu, worship of Lord Vishnu. In Bhagavad Gita 18:46, it is said, Yataha pravritir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam svakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. The Absolute Truth is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and every living being is meant to satisfy the Supreme Godhead by performing his respective duty, Svakarmana tam
Abhyakarya.
Maharaj Prithu wanted to include this formula amongst his citizens.
Keep reading, huh?
The most
Indeed.
important point in human civilization is that while one engages in different occupational duties, he must try to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the execution of such duties. That is the highest perfection of life. Svanushti tasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-13. By discharging one's prescribed duty, one can become very successful in life if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The vivid example is Arjuna. He is a Kshatriya. His duty was to fight, and by executing his prescribed duty, he satisfied the Supreme Lord and therefore became perfect. Everyone should follow this principle.
Right.
Yeah, wonderful.
So,
So by doing the prescribed duty, we can engage throughout the day in pleasing the Supreme Lord.
So
we can-
prescribed duties means one should act according to his natural inclinations. If it's a Shudra, or if it's a Vaishya, or Brahmana, or a Kshatriya, that's what it means,
Yeah.
right?
It does, but we could simplify it to do, people should do what they are inclined to do.
Right.
So
Inclined.
if a man wants to work with his hands, he's not going to be the thing is, if a man wants to work with his hands and he is designated as a Shudra, he is a very lucky man, because working with his hands, he could be cleaning the cooking pots and raking the area around the temple. He could be polishing the armor and building up the weaponry of the Kshatriya. And he can be pushing the plow, picking the fruits, weaving the cloth, cultivating the soil, cultivating the vegetables under the direction of the Vaishyas, as good as a Vaishya. And then as a Shudra himself, he takes care of him. He doesn't have to do anything really. He serves everybody, the other three Varnas, and then he is cared for completely by the other three Varnas. So he doesn't have to have a specific thing that he's trained to do. Kshatriya has to know weapons. Vaishya has to know agronomy. He has to know, meaning the science of breeding animals and plants and stuff like that. And the Brahmin has to be two things: expert cook and expert pujari. And
How about scripture? Why are we
The scripture is provided by Prabhupada, no?
Okay, Jai.
We don't
What I'm
need to
remembering is, I mean, about Arjuna,
Okay,
he said,
but look,
I cannot go into the forest and meditate. So
Yeah.
Krishna
But-
says, fight in the battlefield, do your prescribed duty.
we're
and
not
serve
going to have
me.
any battle. We're not going to have any battlefields, I hope. Our
No,
battlefield
just-
will be the boundary of our property. If you have 10,000
That
acres,
was
there's
Arjuna's
so many
as a
ways to
Kshatriya.
get into it. Huh?
Yeah. That was
Right.
as a Kshatriya is prescribed duty then.
Bro, what
Yeah.
Bhanu Prabhu, I have an
Yeah,
issue in that
Prabhupada
also.
talks
When-
about, go ahead.
Please
You
go
were
ahead, Prabhu. Then. So when Bhanu Prabhu told that Arjuna was reluctant, right? He was reluctant to perform his duties, and he was saying that these are my elderly kingsmen or elderly what do we call brothers and sisters, as well as my gurus. How can I kill them? So how is
Yeah,
that
but-
prescribed duty by Krishna? Can you just explain it more? How is
Okay,
that
how does
prescribed
that?
duty fighting?
Because
it's
he's
my
a
king, it's
Kshatriya.
my own blood, right?
It has
I can't kill
no,
my
it's
blood.
fine. Your observation is excellent. But look at it this way. That conversation with Arjuna has nothing to do with the battle of Kurukshetra. It has to do whether or not I am my body or am I spirit soul. That whole verse and series of verses goes on to explain that the human body is not our main concern. So if you have to kill your uncle, your teacher, your whatever, if that's the action that's required, you must do it as spirit soul. You don't shouldn't. He said he who is wise laments neither for the living nor the dead. So we have to in the Gita, and so we have to understand that, right? That Arjuna was not being taught anything about Kshatriya, but he was being taught the basic principle of following the Dharma, which in his case was Kshatriya Dharma, but it involves going against the Dharma of preserving his. He fought Dhritarashtra that was his guru. Can you imagine? His Kshatriya guru. How do you kill your guru? Well, only if Krishna tells you to. That's why. Otherwise, you don't.
Exactly. Yeah. So it can be manipulated in these material world, no? The Kali Yuga which you are doing.
Huh?
If the guy is not spiritually inclined, if he's not Krishna conscious, he can do anything, right, to his guru, because he'll say that I've
If a
learned
person's
it from
not
Arjuna.
Krishna conscious, if
Why
he
would
has
he
a
have a
guru,
guru?
if he's going against his guru, then he's not a disciple. Therefore, he has no guru. Nobody can be a disciple and go against the guru. You have to
Prabhupada
choose.
says you don't take a guru for the sake of passion or
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
for the sake of
Exactly.
spiritual
But-
progress. You take a guru.
Yeah.
You don't take a guru, you surrender and you obey. That's all. Initiation is worrying and arguing for decades about initiation is ridiculous. You accept the guru and obey the guru. Initiation, I don't care for that. I want to obey Prabhupada. I want to understand what he wanted, and I want to do what he asked us all to do, and I will do it because I want to do it. Well, what am I getting initiated? You want a first and second? I don't know what you're talking about. I want to obey Prabhupada. You know,
Yes.
let me loose. I'm going to become the servant of this Paramahansa. And you cannot tell me, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to follow what he says. He says, follow regulated principles. Fine. Got it. Done. Paid for. And if you want to preach from everyone, yes, I will not go out into the street without opening my mouth to utter the holy name of Krishna, so even the ants can hear me chant. Everything like that. Well, don't you want to take initiation? Why? Because I'm saying that because that is initiation.
Actually, Srila Prabhupada has described reasons for disobeying your guru.
Yes, what?
He has described reasons for disobeying a guru.
Bona fide reasons?
Yes. Well,
Okay, why
if
why
they
do
fall
you just
under a
why
guru,
No, wait a second. When you say guru, I'm talking about Paramahansa, Uttama Adhikari. When you say guru, do you mean some other sort of guru? Or the bona fide guru?
Well, yeah, like he just made that distinction. I'll look at it in where I've seen it, and I'll try and share it.
Is he going to give an example? What would be a good way to disobey the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati?
Right, yeah, that would not be bona fide. That would be rascaldom.
Right. So is there any reason to disobey the order of Srila Prabhupada?
No.
No, but people took it upon themselves to do that.
Right.
The direction of management is a ripe example. Now they turned the GBC into a Vatican Cardinals. So, I mean, that disobedience means we reject it. We don't accept it. We don't need to talk about it. What we need to talk about is what is supposed to be done, what Prabhupada ordered, to the best of our knowledge. Istagosthi means you have realization, I have realization, sometimes everybody else here has realization for sure. And then we reach the conclusion. What did Prabhupada say? What did Prabhupada order? What did Prabhupada want us to do? Istagosthi is for you to establish yourself as the jiva, spirit soul, to do what Prabhupada asked you to do. And it doesn't matter who said nothing, something else somewhere else.
There's various places where Prabhupada has said, right, you can change your gurus at any time. Not specific for Paramahansas, for a physical guru if you want. You can change gurus if you see a deviation. Can someone elaborate on that, if possible?
He said you can change your guru if you see some deviation.
No. Prabhupada talks about which guru to accept. How do you judge who is a right guru? But he doesn't talk about
what did he
never come across.
I'm not getting. He's talking about rejecting a guru. For what reason?
Yes.
What's the reason?
Yeah, what's the reason? Can you elaborate?
When you say guru, do you mean Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Or do you mean Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati? Who are you rejecting? Which of the bona fide gurus do you want to reject?
Not bona fide, but there are certain gurus which he told in the public, right? Don't go for bogus gurus. These are the rules which you need to.
Oh yeah, you can if you have someone called a guru who is not actually, sure you can reject him because he's a fake. Prabhupada said that is not guru, that is guru.
Okay.
I hope I'm pronouncing right. He said guru means bull, not guru. He said it's not guru, guru. Guru. I don't know how do you pronounce it. How do you say bull? Or is there anything like that you could say in Hindi, bull, or Sanskrit?
It's Guru. I've heard it too. It's Guru.
Guru?
Yeah.
Okay, so not guru, but guru.
And in the scriptures also, Prabhu, it's written somewhere, no? I don't remember the exact, that you can change your guru's unlimited times, not Paramahansas, not if you're in the material world, if you're taking Diksha, you can change gurus at any time if you feel a deviations.
But we have Prabhupada.
What you're saying is,
why do you need to?
Do you give up the association teacher that is a rascal misleading you spiritually toward some sort of gain for himself of name, fame, or even money? Are you going to give that guy up? Yeah, but if you should be so smart, you don't accept them in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, Bhanu Prabhu wanted to say something. Sorry.
Like Tamal, if you want to be initiated by Tamal, say, but before we do anything, didn't you poison Prabhupada? Should I accept the guru who poisoned Prabhupada? Is that a good idea? That hits close to home, doesn't it?
We have Prabhupada, I mean, Uttamadhikari, whose life is an example. I mean, we can see the life and decide we cannot be cheated.
Yeah, but there's no excuse to murder the pure devotee. The
through the point I wanted to say is because of the Maya where we're living, right? So physical guru is always needed. Physical Tiksha guru, or maybe physical guru who you can take knowledge from if you have doubts, right? If
For
someone is
what?
not
Physical
that
guru
much
for
mature,
what?
he can't
Knowledge
control.
is there in the books, Prabhupada books. For what exactly do we need a physical guru? Prabhupada books.
may I ask a simple question? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah.
I think people are still confused on the guru issue. So maybe Narayan Prabhu, you can clear it up in 10 minutes because it's a very important.
Okay, I will. If you want me to clear up the guru issue, I can do that in 2 seconds. If
Yes,
you want,
please.
okay. If you want a bogus guru, worship me, not Narayan. You should worship me. And then I will say, you fools, you accepted me and you're rascals because you accepted a bogus man like me as guru.
Yeah, that's 2 seconds, all right.
Make me your sevak, Prabhu. It's okay. Make me your sevak. I'll do your
Yeah.
seva, bro.
What? What did you say?
Bro, make me your sevak. I'll do your seva.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. People do what they want to do as much as they want to do.
If you want
There's no
personal
law.
guidance, you have
There's no
Istagosthi.
law. There's no law that the jiva has to become a devotee of Krishna. He can continue as long as he likes, taking birth after birth after birth after birth in the material world. Why not? But if he develops even the slight desire to regain his original relationship with Krishna, then he can become a Kanista Adhikari in ISKCON, and that will be good.
But even when Prabhupada was there, when he was away from the devotees and they wanted to ask Prabhupada something, they did Istagosthi. So same thing over here also.
Yeah, exactly. We're not making anything up. In Istagosthi, we're trying to access. You see, in Istagosthi, we are not talking from the material platform. We're not talking, oh yeah, this is Narayan, he's this and that age. There's Banu, he's in India, and there's Ramachandra, he's in Sacramento, and he came from Fiji. No, we're not doing that. Or Mohit. It doesn't matter where we're from. Here in Istagosthi, we are from Krishna. In Istagosthi, I am part and parcel of Krishna, as is every one of you. So I came here to see Krishna. And by wanting to see Krishna, I see you as Krishna's part and parcel, Jiva. So that's what I want. I want to see Krishna. That's why I'm here in Istagosthi. If I want to see a bunch of people mucking around and doing stuff, I'll go to the ISKCON temple and watch them giving each other orders and making each other wash pots and rake in the garden and whatnot. That's fine. That's their process. That's their progressive path towards becoming more and more advanced in the Kanista Adhikari platform. But when I want to have perfect understanding, then I find Prabhupada. Or in Istagosthi, I find Prabhupada through you. I find Krishna through you. Why? Because you're part and parcel of Krishna, each one. Not one of you is not part and parcel of Krishna. If you were not part and parcel of Krishna, you wouldn't be able to do anything. You'd be like a rock or like a pebble on the ground or like a splash of water somewhere. But you are. You're animated. That means jiva. Jiva means animation. Consciousness means jiva is there because only the jiva is conscious. The body is never conscious. When the jiva gets out of his stupid torpor, his intoxication with being in a body, oh, I'm Albert Schwarzenegger, I can lift big weights. When you get over that, and you start saying elsewise, said, I'm actually Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not this body, even Schwarzenegger. I'm spiritual. And at that point, I can talk to you. And you can talk to me. That is what we're doing here. That's Istagosthi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Let's start worshipping Narayan.
Hare Bol, Hare Hare.
No,
Hare
no,
Bol.
not this one. Not this
I
one,
know.
the other one.
Oh, the real Narayan, yeah, in Bhajanath.
Yes.
The most important point to be noted in this meeting, please.
Yeah. Well, that's right. That's funny.
Hare Bo.
Yes.
I feel that everyone should be willing to do their due diligence to come to conclusions. Otherwise, just by taking a devotee's word, I feel that it's a form of worshiping that devotee, taking it as
No. If you say Krishna is God, and I hear from you Krishna is God, Hare Krishna is the name mantra for this age. If you tell me that, I don't have to do any research because that is coming from Lord Chaitanya.
Yes, but that is citing the Shastras, isn't it? But it's giving reference to the Shastra. Okay, the holy name is supreme because such and such. Giving those examples
but we
from the
don't need
Shastras.
the Shastras. We need Prabhupada.
Oh my.
What
Okay.
do we need
Wait, why do
Shastras
you
for?
say that we don't need
Prabhupada's-
Shastra? That doesn't make sense.
That seems like
Okay,
a gross misguidance.
Do you mind if I make sense out of it for you?
You can make your own sense.
Can I explain what
Sure.
Prabhupada said on the topic of his books, which is Shastras, right? Do you accept Prabhupada's books are Shastras?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes? Okay. Prabhupada said the only reason I have written my books is so that by reading them, people will come to the understanding of why they should chant Hare Krishna. So you don't need the books to chant Hare Krishna. You just chant Hare Krishna. If you don't know why to chant Hare Krishna, then read the books until you find out why to chant Hare Krishna. But the books are just to bring you to the point of chanting Hare Krishna. That's why we're distributing to people that are not Brahmins. We're distributing them to the population at large. We're giving the books away. We're getting reciprocal loving exchange. I give the book, he gives some money or something else, a bag of groceries, whatever he gives. This is loving exchanges. So that is what we're doing to elevate people to the point of understanding why they should chant Hare Krishna. But there's nothing in the books that goes beyond chanting Hare Krishna. Would you say, Matthew? What in the Prabhupada's books is beyond chanting Hare Krishna?
Yeah.
It's Brihad Mridanga.
Well, Brihad
It
Mridanga
goes around the world, whereas what we can speak can be heard around a block.
Okay, so what is the Brihad Mridanga supposed to do?
Spread Krishna consciousness and as
How?
you said, people to
How?
by the Shastra in it.
Do you know what Brihad
People gain
Mridanga
knowledge.
is?
Shastra,
Brihad
Guru,
Mridanga. What is Brihad Mridanga?
Brihad Mridanga means big drum.
Yeah, but what does it
And-
mean in terms of Prabhupada saying?
It was a Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's term, right?
Okay, but what is he referring to?
He's referring to that when we pick up a mridanga, people can
No.
hear on
It
a
has
block.
nothing to do with the Mridanga.
World.
Brihat means, Mridanga is a drum, clay drum.
Yeah.
Brihat means gigantic. So
Yes.
what is the gigantic drum? It is the books.
Right.
Brihat Mridanga means Prabhupada's books. So with Prabhupada's books, we give those books to people. You say to them, chant Hare Krishna. They say no. Oh, would you take this book and give me $5? Okay. So they read the book, and then next time you see them, chant Hare Krishna. Well, I read the book and it said chant Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll do it. Hare Krishna. Good. You didn't have to buy the book. You could have just chanted, but now you bought the book, read the rest of it. Have a good time. It's a good book. You'll find it very entertaining. Much better than Agatha Christie, or much better than the Bible, much better than the Quran, much better than the Torah. Just read the book. It's good reading if you don't want to feel like chanting. But if you want to feel like chanting, put down the book and start chanting, because that's what the book is telling you to do. Chant.
Well, I've read quotes from Srila Prabhupada that said that the whole purpose of the Sankirtan movement is to distribute books.
Why?
For expanding Krishna consciousness in society.
Why does Prabhupada want books to be distributed?
Because people want to.
And I
people
agree
need to be
100%.
convinced about why
Distributing
they
books.
should be chanting Hare Krishna. That's the reason books are distributed. The
Exactly.
importance of knowing
That's the
why
perfect
they should
understanding.
chant.
The only
Right.
reason to distribute books is so people will begin to chant Hare Krishna.
You need both the mother and the father. You need the Vedas.
Who's the mother?
the
Who's the
Shastras.
father?
The Shastras are the mother,
Radha
and
Krishna.
the holy name is the father, because it's one and the same with Krishna, none different.
Prabhupada never said that.
That's a fact.
Well, find it. Find the quote. We're not here to make things up.
What did Prabhupada not say?
Because he said that the Vedas are mother. Did he not? And he said
Okay.
Krishna is our
I don't know
father.
if he
Did he
said that
not?
or not. But what difference does it make?
I was just
Okay,
saying
let me
it's
ask you
important to
this.
have both of them.
What for?
Because how can you know who your father is if you don't have your mother there to tell you who your father
Yes,
is?
exactly. So that until you understand that Krishna is your father, you can read the Shastra to find that out. But when you discover he's your father, then you chant the Maha Mantra and you get the mother and the father in that one mantra. Hare, mother, Krishna, father. Is there any difficulty there? We shouldn't get attached to it. We're not Catholics. That you have to read the Bible, have to read the Bible, have to read the Bible. Or Protestants have to read the Bible. Or Jew have to read the Talmud. Or
There's a
Muslim
big
have to read the
difference
Quran.
between the Bible
We don't have
and
to
the
read
Shastras.
anything. What we
The
need to do is to spread the holy of Krishna by Sankirtan. We read books. Some of us read books, but we don't go out on Sankirtan. So it is more important, once you know that Krishna is God and the holy name of Krishna is Radha and Krishna combined, then we go out on Sankirtan. That is why we read the books, to send us out on Sankirtan. And on Sankirtan, while we're chanting, people say, what are you doing? Well, here's a book. Do you have $5 or $10? You can have the book. I mean, is there any problem there? If you find a problem, find a quote from Prabhupada, which establishes that reading the book is more important than chanting Hare Krishna.
And I didn't say that. I didn't say one or the other was more important. I just said that they're both important in order to come to a sound conclusion.
Yeah, for the
People, you can chant the
Kinitsarakari,
holy name all day, and because people don't have a taste for it, they're not going to know.
why
the
not chant
supreme
the holy name all day? There's
platform
no
of the
harm in
holy
it,
name.
is there? The idea is when you chant the holy name, do so after listening to Prabhupada for 100 hours through earphones to see how to chant. Kirtan, how to chant Kirtan, how to chant Japa. Put on the earphones for 100 hours and then listen how to chant Kirtan, how to chant Japa. And if you do that, you've gone beyond the need for anything other than chanting and hearing. We like to hear Krishna's pastimes, don't get me wrong, but that is not why Prabhupada printed books. He printed books so that people that don't chant Hare Krishna will understand why to chant Hare Krishna. They have to know who is Krishna. Hare Krishna is mother and father. Hare is mother, Krishna is father.
Are you of the contention that it's okay to just dispose of the Shastras?
Dispose of them, meaning what?
Well, like coming to certain conclusions that are not shastrically based.
Yeah, you
Like
said
where?
there's no need for the Shastra. but
Find
there-
let's find the non-shastrically based statement and examine the Shastras and find up the
Well,
answer.
just the fact that there's this is a very sensitive issue, obviously, but
Of
the
what?
fact that saying that there's never going to be another Uttama Adhikari to continue the parampara, which has been
Okay.
established by the Shastras, that there always will be a parampara.
No, it doesn't say that. There is. Prabhupada is the Acharya until the end of the age of Kali. You think there's going to be, the golden age of Kali will be 9,400 and something years, right? 9,535 years. And let's see. I'm trying to get that right. I think Rupa Manjari said it's 9,535 years till the end of the golden age of Kali. I don't think that's right. But anyhow, it's something 9,000 something years to the end of the golden age of the Kali. After that 9,500 years, who is going to be the Acharya in the rest of Kali Yuga for 417,000 years?
Why would the parampara stop?
So if
Okay,
you go
when
by
does it-
if you go
so
by
Prabhupada, who is the
in his
Acharya?
conversations, Nanai
Who
Prabhu
is
can
the
say,
Acharya? Who will be the Acharya 20,000 years from now?
There will be the fact that that's going to be the end of the golden age of Kali, that's going to be long over,
Yeah. So there won't be any Acharya after the golden age of Kali.
yeah. I mean, in
Until
his
Kalki.
conversations with his devotees,
Then
disciples,
Kalki
Prabhupada
comes.
says that when the
Until we
disciples
get to
ask
that
that,
point, there's a lot of work to be done. I see a
Well,
lot
yes,
of
there is a lot of work to
different
be done.
splinter cells of like rhythmic
Okay.
splinter cells. Why don't y'all all cooperate? I don't understand why
So-
there's so much division if that's supposed to be the correct
Where's
path.
the division?
Well,
Did
you have
somebody say,
You have
Does
Madhu
someone say
Pandit
don't
in
chant
his
Hare
business
Krishna?
there. You have
Who is saying don't
ISKM
have
there.
to-
You have League of
What?
10K here. Why is there so
League
much
of
division?
10K means obey Prabhupada, hear Prabhupada, obey his orders, and prepare ISKCON for the rest of the 10,000 years of golden age of Kali. Do you see a this there and that there? What's something else? What else is worth doing? If something's
Can I
more
make a
valuable
point
than
here?
this, then I'll do that, not this. Why should I do this if it's something else that's more important?
Banu
So
Prabhu,
when
you have something
during
you would
one
like
of
to
the
say?
conversations of
See.
Prabhupada with his devotees, he said that they asked when the Guru issue was raised, Prabhupada said that you're not ready. When you become ready, then you can become Guru. So Prabhupada didn't order
Yeah, but
anyone to become Guru.
who was he talking to?
That we know of, a lot of his tapes and everything was destroyed. So we
Right,
don't even
Okay,
have
fine.
his
But
And
anything
who?
to like.
Prabhupada
It
also
doesn't
said
matter.
that
Tapes,
he
the
would be
tapes don't count. Only
Prabhupada also
what-
said
only
that
what Prabhupada
he would
wrote
be-
counts.
and with Vaikuntha party, he said, Prabhupada, you are printing so many books. How would you be initiating? Then he said, when people read my books, they would get initiated, and when they follow chanting and following the four regulative principles, he said.
Exactly.
So he's living through his books, and he is initiating.
Yeah, exactly. So, but once you have reached that, you can read the books for pleasure, but by that time, you know the purpose of reading the books is to chant Hare Krishna. So then you go out and spend 22 hours a day chanting Hare Krishna in the streets. Why not?
And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati ordered Prabhupada to become Guru, to go to the West and become Guru, but
Yeah.
but Prabhupada didn't order anyone to become Guru.
No.
I feel that the reason he wouldn't do that is because he knew that they were already poisoning him, and that would put the next person in danger.
No, it would put Prabhupada's reputation in danger. He was tricking them. He fooled
Exactly
them.
my point. That's exactly my point. He's saying, "Oh, you aren't ready." He's speaking specifically to this unqualified guru. I mean, the unqualified
Okay,
disciples.
Well, okay, let me just ask, who is this Bhaktananda that I'm talking to?
Yes.
Okay, let's just ask the question, what did Prabhupada leave undone that must be undone to complete the golden age of Kali? The Acharya doesn't come just to entertain us or to entertain himself. Why would another Acharya appear after Prabhupada? What
Well,
would he do?
himself, Prabhupada himself, like you said, he said, I could have, done the Ramayana. I could have done, he would have, first of all, finished the Srimad Bhagavatam and then go on to do other Puranas, the Ramayana, all that.
So do you need the Ramayana to go back to Godhead?
No, you need to just
Exactly.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
I found a
So
quote.
why would he come
But the
back?
Srimad
Why would
Bhagavatam is not
a
complete.
pure devotee come back to planet Earth and become an ISKCON guru or a guru outside of ISKCON or some sort of guru? Why would he do that just to complete the Ramayana of the Mahabharata? They poisoned him. So that we're left with what he left us. But I'm asking, what would he do that he didn't do? Would he create a temple? Would he create a Kanisa Adhikari movement called ISKCON if he comes again? That's been done, right? Prabhupada did that. It's been done. Would he create a GBC? No, Prabhupada has done that. Would he create temples with Vishnu, with marble deities that are worshipable as Vishnu but are representing Radha and Krishna? Oh no, Prabhupada did that. Would he introduce japa? No, Prabhupada already did that. Would he introduce offering prasadam to the deity? No, Prabhupada already did that. So what would the new guru, the new acharya do that Prabhupada has not already done, unless you're wishing that they had better quality recipes for the prasadam or something? But that's not the most important thing. If you need to make a better recipe, Krishna will guide you from within.
Okay.
So my question to you, Bhaktananda, is what would another acharya do that Prabhupada did not do?
Well, you just look at the very fact how his disciples, turned on him, and then the movement split up into like a whole bunch of different factions. Like
it's one thing.
We lost the unity. Who's going to rally? Everybody was rallying under Prabhupada's flag, and now that he's not here, you have all of so many people going into so many different splinter cells. Trying to, saying that they have the most correct supreme path.
Okay, so what we're doing is to bring that to a conclusion that we're going to follow Prabhupada and we're going to carry out his orders, and we're going to introduce Madhyama Adhikari, which Prabhupada introduced, and Kanisa Adhikari, which Prabhupada introduced. If another acharya comes, you're thinking that, good, he can come, and then the next generation will poison him also, right?
Not necessarily.
The next generation, why wouldn't the next generation poison him?
If you look at Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was poisoned, injected with some random thing.
So
injection. And then Prabhupada was also poisoned. So I think the fact that Prabhupada said, wouldn't name somebody outright was because even if that was the case, that would automatically put him in danger.
Yeah, so he doesn't. Okay, but what would he teach us that Prabhupada has not taught?
Well,
us?
He would continue translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is supposed to be the incarnation of Krishna. What do you mean? So what? That's the incarnation of Krishna in Kali Yuga.
So what?
Hey Krishna, we should do away with the Srimad Bhagavatam, the last few cantos.
But what did Prabhupada say? I gave you so many times in this one conversation. Prabhupada said the only reason, Prabhupada said the only reason that he wrote his book is so that we would become convinced to chant Hare Krishna. When he said us, he means the world. You can find that out in Krishna book. Why do you have to go for 10 cantos or 12 cantos? You see? Bhaktananda, you there?
Yes.
Okay, I have a
Okay.
quote here.
I don't want to offend you again, but it's the last thing I ever want to do.
I have
So,
this book, and this is my request. And
Okay.
it's a letter to Hayagriva dated 10th of June, 1967. Although I am practically on the path of death, still I cannot forget about my publications. I wish that if I live or die, you should take very serious care for my publications.
Good. What's wrong with that?
It's
Prabhupada wants millions of his books printed. In 1967, he hardly printed a few thousand. At most, few hundred. Now we are printing millions. What's the bad part? What's wrong with it?
it's just that there's why don't you want to read the 10th and 11th canto? It's the same reason.
Because we don't need them to chant Hare Krishna. In other words, we had our chant.
I want to read the 10th
It's
and
like-
11th
it's like
canto
Je-
because it
Prabhu,
wasn't written by.
It's like Jesus. Why did they crucify him at the exact time that they crucified him? If they had crucified him 10 years later, he would have taught so much more, right? But they crucified him when they felt like crucifying him. They poisoned Prabhupada when they felt like poisoning Prabhupada. Prabhupada didn't ask to be poisoned. In fact, as the stroller said, he would live another 10 years after when he passed away. He would live another 10 years if his disciples did not do him in. So there's nothing to be, why are we attached to, we're not our body. All that the book can do is convince you that you're not your body. Then you can chant Hare Krishna.
It's the book represents an internal sound vibration. That's what the books
Okay.
represent. They're not just physical things.
So
Before they were written down, and they were
Do you have
vibrations only.
do you have a reason not to read the books? I recommend you read them.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I don't understand.
it just
what you're
doesn't
saying.
make
What are you
sense to
saying?
me why he would just like, hey, all my work is done except the
No,
fact that the
going in
Bhagavatam wasn't
circles.
complete. That's okay. I
There's
don't
only one
see him just
Bhaktananda. There's only one
pushing away the
question on the,
Bhagavatam.
there's only one question on the table. Why would another Acharya need to come here?
To fulfill the guru role.
Yeah, to just
Okay,
fulfill
what is the
Tattva.
guru role?
It is.
Are you saying Prabhupada cannot fulfill the guru role?
Well, like there has always been somebody here physically, and
Why?
suddenly there's some precedent to do away with that.
Okay, what was the
Just because
connection
he was a
between
great
Vishwanath
soul.
Chakravarti and Thakur
It doesn't-
Bhaktivinoda?
It's a great soul. Just because a great soul appears and does a lot of great things, that doesn't, and plus the fact that he didn't indicate that we should do away with the parampara.
Okay.
Like
So you
Okay,
that's
we
what I'm
have
trying to
Vasish
figure out. Like
in the
So
room also.
you do not accept that a representative Acharya can initiate people. So in other words, ever since Prabhupada entered Samadhi, nobody is an initiation devotee of Krishna. Nobody's
well,
an
at the
initiated
very least,
disciple of anybody.
they're taking shelter of the Shastras, which is what is
Okay,
prescribed in the Shastras.
So you're telling me, Bhaktananda, that nobody since Prabhupada last initiated is initiated in ISKCON.
I mean,
Is that what you're saying?
I guess if you want to like put me on the spot like that, then yeah.
So nobody's initiated. So you
Well,
don't
the thing
believe.
about initiation is that
So
the
what
whole
was the meaning
purpose
of?
of a fire ceremony is that you have Agni Dev there to act as a messenger between this realm and the spiritual sky. That he's saying, okay, these devotees here are giving their lives, and I'm a
Yes,
witness to that.
and
He's
they have
vouching for
all
them. That's the
had
whole point of the fire ceremony. And if you
They
don't
have
have
all-
somebody to
Wait.
anchor the parampara, is how is it that
Bhaktananda, come on, you're beginning to hit a blank wall. Consider this. how many devotees in ISKCON with spiritual names do not have a Agnihotra initiation?
Say it. You said an
Are you talking
ISKCON?
about a proper one or just done in
You're
just
talking about
do-
nowadays or
melody?
Prabhupada said the temple president can do the fire
Yes.
sacrifice.
While that was while he was on the planet, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
there was also part of that. He said, with my approval.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so he is given that approval that the temple presidents can
False.
perform the ceremony.
No,
Well,
it was
he
that
says
every name would be given to him and he would give approval.
that's what the
Okay.
July 9th letter says.
Okay. And then what happens after that?
Well, we don't
What do you
get that
mean?
point without the presence of Srila Prabhupada. He's not there to approve it.
Okay, so if
He
he's not
doesn't know
there to approve
everyone's
it,
name.
are you
You
saying
can't
that?
send them
for
direct.
the- Are you saying that unless another guru appears on the horizon somewhere in a future age or sometime yuga, not yuga, but in 10 unless somebody shows up in the next few thousand years, that nobody can take initiation or go back to Godhead? Is that what you're
Where's
saying?
Well, we don't have to look that far out. But I would throw a name out there, but I'll probably get censored.
What? Krishna Balaram?
No, we are saying unless the new
Yeah.
guru comes in between time, we cannot take Prabhupada as the guru.
When was there
We
ever
cannot,
described that there would be a break in the parampara?
There is no break in the parampara. Prabhupada is giving initiation by Ritvik initiation.
Can you prove that?
That's never
He
been
said
done in
so.
Shastra.
That
That's
no,
never
that's
been
not,
done. Ritik has been done, but not where he doesn't have physical form.
that was to spread his influence when he was
What's
Prakash.
anchoring?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he was
what you're saying is that
manifest.
there is no way to become a devotee of Krishna anymore.
No,
There's
didn't
Krishna
say that
Balaram
at
song
all.
here.
Everyone
What?
can take shelter of the Shastras. Everyone can take shelter of Srila Prabhupada.
So how do you get your spiritual name?
You have to. There's the
Are you
process
saying
of
that-
Diksha.
So Matthew, are you saying that Krishna Balaram can give initiation?
Yeah.
So who authorized him?
How can you tell me how? Well, I would just like to. Nobody has been able to tell me how he's not qualified. And
Srila
I've been given
Prabhupada.
so many qualifications.
How is he not qualified to give initiation? Very simple. I was there in Vrindavan when he was there in Vrindavan. He never even went to see Prabhupada.
What do you mean? He was there at the end.
The end. Where was he not at the beginning?
He was there managing the Sankirtan parties in Vrindavan.
He was a member
was-
of
he-
ISKCON. He lived
Yeah.
in the ISKCON temple.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the first. He was one of the first people who lived in ISKCON Vrindavan when it was thatched huts, 3 thatched huts, and 5 devotees with Ananda Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's godbrother. They were all serving very
Okay.
nicely.
So then I must know him. But the thing is that I heard it wasn't true. So thank you for informing me. But the question is, when did Prabhupada appoint him to be successor guru?
I have I don't think he would announce that in the public, but
have
according,
you heard of the quote that you become guru
Well,
when
you're-
you're ordered by your guru?
I have-
You're
I
fighting for
have,
him to be guru. You're
there's
fighting
a-
for him
there's
to
a
be
photograph.
successor guru, and you won't even say why or how.
there's a photograph with Srila Prabhupada and Krishna Balaram, and apparently, this is what I understand. Of course, the only way you're gonna accept this is if you believe the word of this devotee. There's
I
also
don't
another
believe
witness
anybody's
there,
words.
but
I believe
he said,
Prabhupada's words.
Prabhupada said to get a camera. He told one of the disciples, get a camera, said take a picture. And then there's an image where he's sitting next to Srila Prabhupada and he has his finger up and he's indicating basically you're the only one who's going to be able to, carry this movement forward. You're the most qualified person, basically.
Okay, so
Something
why
of that
didn't he
nature.
tell anybody else that?
To not put his life in danger. He's still alive.
His
He's
life in
still
danger.
serving very
Whose
nicely
life?
at all of the
Krishna Balaram's
acharyas.
life in danger?
So
Krishna
again, he
Balaram?
actually has been poisoned. He's been poisoned by Bhakti Charu. He's been poisoned by Hansaduta.
Who? Krishna
Balaram.
Balaram?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. Hansaduta
That's
didn't
true.
poison anybody.
I mean, Bhakti Charu, Jayapataka, Radhananda, there are many other famous, more well-known people than Krishna Balram. Why would they feel
So,
such a threat that they would be
what?
poisoning?
If Krishna Balaram was there, why didn't he prevent the others from poisoning Prabhupada? Why wasn't he in Prabhupada's room when Prabhupada was saying somebody is poisoning me? He wasn't in Prabhupada's room when that happened. Where was he? Where was he when his guru was being poisoned? He's just sitting there calculating when he can take over the movement? Where was he? Where was he in Prabhupada's last days? Was he there in the room with Srila Prabhupada? Did he ever say to, if he's Trikalagya, if he's supposed to be a pure devotee, did he ever say, Prabhupada is being poisoned? Did he ever go out to the newspapers and say, Prabhupada is being poisoned? I can tell. Have him tested
Ananda
for
left.
poison?
Bhakta Ananda left.
Why didn't he try to save Prabhupada? He was so
Andrew-
anxious to become a successor? Come
And he's
on.
a very
Andrew
he's a very
left.
weak agent. He's a weak
Get-
agent
get-
of Krishna Balaram Swami actually.
What?
He's a weak agent of Krishna Balaram Swami.
Who's speaking?
Well, it's kind of a
Vasish,
secret.
Vasish has come in, has been listening.
If Prabhupada wasn't his successor, where was Krishna Balaram Swami at Prabhupada's last days? Why wasn't he in the
Because-
room when they...
Because
when they
this is a Leela. Because this was a
What?
Leela between Krishna Balaram Swami and his master, Srila Prabhupada. That's a Leela actually. You want
Who's,
I think-
who's
I think-
speaking?
Andrew
Vashish.
has left. Andrew Prabhu has left, and Vasish is speaking on the topic right now.
Who is? Who's the guy with the
Vashish.
voice?
Vashish.
Oh, Vashish. Oh, Haribol Vashish. So you're saying, Vashish, that Krishna Balaram Swami didn't need to be with Srila Prabhupada and become known as a possible successor?
Prabhu, I'm speaking on behalf of the agents of Krishna Balaram Swami, okay? Or any
I don't
other,
know.
or any
How do
or
we
any
know
other
them?
or any other possible successes, like just like you're saying, you're asking what was these few devotees doing when Prabhupada was getting poisoned and all. So their answer should be it was an arrangement, it was a divine arrangement of the Lord.
Okay, that's a pretty rotten answer, isn't it?
That's what, yeah, of course.
That's a pretty rotten
There
answer.
are evidence. You must have heard it. You must have read in, I think in
No,
Bhagavatam, there's some evidence as well.
frankly, I didn't hear about Krishna Balaram Swami until Matthew brought him up.
Tomorrow there will be Radha Shyam Sundar Swami also. Don't worry about that, okay? And after that, you'll get Jagannath Swami also will come.
So
You're getting the
Matthew
point.
said, so
You're
what
getting
did
the
you- I
point.
don't understand. What did you just say? I'm sorry, missed it.
Okay. Mhm.
Will you repeat that, Bashish?
Excuse me?
What was it that you just said about what was it?
I'm telling you, today there's Krishna Balaram Swami. Tomorrow Jagannath Swami also will come. Tomorrow another Nitai Gauram Swami will come. So there will be few successors. Don't worry. Choose a few successors of Prabhupada. It is good. Keep on, carry on. It's good.
Who said that?
Vashish.
Vasish Prabhu.
Haribol.
So
Haribol.
Vashish, I thought you were in the Ritvik idea. That's July 9th lover idea.
Where was Ritvik ever authorized, though, other than the spreading of Srila Prabhupada's influence when he was manifest?
What are you talking? Who are you talking
Ritvik
about?
wasn't authorized because Ritviks were the people poisoning Prabhupada. The only thing which is authorized is Prabhupada saying that he would be initiating through his books. So that way, Prabhupada is the guru for the rest of the 10,000 years.
He did say that. He said that.
What-
That the touch, he said, my touch is only the formality. In other words, you don't need, if you have Prabhupada's books, then you don't need a physical guru.
Mhm.
But once you have Prabhupada's books and accept them, then you become the quote unquote guru and teach people to chant Hare Krishna. The bottom line is two things. Prabhupada, his instructions, and the jiva. If I take initiation from Prabhupada, I have to accept him as he is, don't I?
Yes.
Why would I accept him otherwise? That's
So
otherwise.
Andrew Ananda Prabhu has come on.
My
Well, what I don't get
my phone died.
from Matthew Ananda, what I don't get is why do we need another physical guru?
Because this is a disciplic succession passed on from guru to disciple throughout the eternity of.
Ever since
You
Lord
do.
Brahma.
So you're saying there's never been a gap?
There's been gaps, but the people take shelter of the Shastras through those periods.
Okay,
That's
so
always
that's what we
always
can
been.
do. Let's take shelter of Prabhupada's books. What is
Yeah, that's the prescription. That nobody's
Krishna Balaram going to write new books?
Well,
Yes.
he's translated the 10th and 11th cantos, and he's established that Redstone Temple for Srila Prabhupada's wishes. So that's something.
For you, he's your god brother, but
Who, Krishna Balaram Swami?
yeah. Why would you avoid? Why would you order us not to take initiation from him?
Oh, because I want you to take initiation from me.
I thought that was bad advice, though. I thought we were supposed to reject you as a
Don't you
guru.
believe in competition?
You're part of the beloved Istagosthi.
You can take initiation of Maharishi if you like. Doesn't
Who
bother
the heck
me.
is that?
What do I care who you take initiation from?
Well, we're just trying to follow the Shastras, the Parampara. That's all we're trying to really
So
adhere
are
to.
you. Aren't you also trying to follow Shastras?
That's what we said. That's what I said.
So you don't need him. You just need Prabhupada Shastra.
No, what the Shastra says that there has always been somebody. There was always a way. Even if there's a gap, there's a continuation. Even if even if it goes on
Oh.
hiatus.
Right now we have a gap for another 9,000 years.
Well,
We
I would
don't-
just say this.
What is another Acharya going to do that Prabhupada didn't do or did badly?
Well, like I just said, he's translated the 10th and 11th cantos from the perspective of Vrajavasi.
And so
Who had-
we are doomed. We're doomed unless we have the 10th and 11th cantos, 12 cantos. Is that right? We can't make advancement if we don't have those.
No, I'm just saying he's not that we can make advancement. It's like when we get to that final stage where we've read all the material, why does it not make sense to continue reading?
And what will you get out of reading?
And that remains to be seen from from engaging in the reading.
How will that bring you to the Madhyamadikari platform? And where is it written?
Well, just in general, just a continuation, having faith in somebody,
Okay,
who's
so I get what you guys are doing. You guys are materialists. You believe your body is the self. I
no.
don't. Now, but my
You're
body
saying
is
that
not.
that's your conclusion, but that is not our
I am the
conclusion.
conclusion because all you want is
It's not my
something. It's the
conclusion.
material. You want something to cling to rather than a path for getting free from clinging at all.
You can say that, but the fact is that there's always been continuation of the parampara and somebody here to anchor the
So
sampradaya
what?
into this earth,
Why do you need a
into the
continuation of the
consciousness grid.
parampara? You have Prabhupada. What more do you need?
So, Andrew Ananda Prabhu, what advantage would you have with a personal guru?
Well, because first of all, he can correct our mistakes when we're doing something that's not right, you know.
So can
We don't have to
you?
go through all of
Give an
Prabhupada's-
example.
Okay, if I'm
Yeah.
saying, if I'm, for example, like if I'm not performing my sadhana correctly, or if I'm doing something like Vishnu John and I forget who all, they were worshiping Prabhupada as God. Of course, nothing to. It's not going to be an offense of that
So you
caliber,
feel,
but just something small, even if I'm not worshiping,
and you
doing
can't find that in
proper worship.
correction. You can't find that correction in Prabhupada's books.
Well, sometimes there's situations that are unique, like to our current, circumstances, and so
Like what?
like
No,
okay, so
the many
currently in this
devotees,
age,
and you
there's
can
so
find
many.
the
There's
similar
so many
Sounds like
experiences.
you're like a drowning man clutching for straws. There's nothing that you need that you cannot find in Prabhupada's books.
Yeah, the things which have happened with the disciples, then you can relate to them, and we can.
There's already various things I've learned that haven't come from Prabhupada's books that were not mentioned in Prabhupada's books.
You don't need them. Do you know Prabhupada himself said that everything he wrote as though it were the last thing that he would be able to write. So he wanted to be sure that whatever he wrote would be sufficient for people to go back to Godhead.
He
So
gave
that his
all of the essential information in all of his books that's necessary for that juncture of time. But in this juncture of time, there's so many divisions. This movement has split off into so many different factions that many of them, most of them, unauthorized.
There is no division. Without Prabhupada, there would be no divisions. Division means away from Prabhupada. But then you end up, if you say, what do you divide?
So why is there so many Ridvik splinter cells? Well, why don't y'all just operate under one banner?
How many Ritviks do you know that do not care for Prabhupada?
And if what you're saying is so bona fide, where are all the people that you've been rallying for the past couple decades or so?
What?
If what you're saying is self-effulgent, then surely many people would be, here in this meeting, like hundreds of people or something. Not like in this specific
meeting. In other words, people would recognize me as the next Acharya.
No, I'm saying if what you're saying is if you have the blessing of Prabhupada to do that, what all momentum have you gained over the past 2-3 decades?
If Krishna Balram Swami is the next Acharya, people, his disciples don't need to convince others that he is the next Acharya. Seeing what he is doing, we would already be able to recognize that status.
Well, the problem is knowing about it and doing the actual evaluation, not simply brushing, throwing them out because you already think you know the answer, that your cup is already filled.
Throwing him out? What are you talking about?
Like you're doing away. You're saying no, you're rejecting.
I'd like to ask
what? Are you telling me that I'm rejecting my God brother? I am not rejecting my God brother.
Rejecting the idea that that they should continue. The initiations should continue under his shelter.
Oh, I could get that same conclusion going to any ISKCON temple.
No, not necessarily.
You
Where's
don't
the
think that-
Uttama
Yeah,
Adhikari?
You
like
don't
to
think
ask
the
you a
ISKCON temples have people saying that they can take initiation here from me, this guy, that guy?
Yeah, none of them are bona fide. None of them are actually have the qualifications that they can list and show. You know, like, hey,
So what is the
I'm not gonna
unique
tell anybody what
qualification
to
of
do, but I do encourage
Even
people
Prabhupada was
to do a
Acharya.
full evaluation.
He wasn't limited to one place. He was self-effulgent, and everyone were attracted
Yeah.
to his.
Yeah, so when
That's
he was
what-
on the planet, he could send his blessings across on the other side of the planet. He gave his blessings, and that's how he was able to, you know, do initiation on
Who?
such a wide scale.
So let
Krishna Balaram
time decide it.
You know,
You don't need
Prabhupada.
to. You don't need to tell it that he is the next Acharya.
This is sort of amazing.
No one
but
need to. What do you say?
I want to know, why was Krishna Balaram Swami not front and center when Prabhupada was present?
He was there in Vrindavan when
Oh
on
yeah,
Prabhupada's
he wasn't there
deathbed.
in Vrindavan. How come he wasn't there in any of the conversations, in any of the tapes, any of the writing? How come Prabhupada doesn't even mention him?
He was there. I mean, what do you mean?
Okay,
All you have to do is
show
go
me
through the
where-
literature.
Show me a letter from Prabhupada to Krishna Balaram Swami.
Where's the letter? Do you have a letter? Does every
Do
disciple of Srila Prabhupada have a letter?
Of what? Krishna Balaram Swami?
So having a letter is a qualification?
Prabhupada sent me lots of letters.
I'm just saying, so every disciple, what makes them what qualifies them as a nice
Prabhupada wrote
disciple is
dozen.
having a letter from
Come
Srila
on.
Prabhupada.
Give me a break.
I mean,
Let me
a
talk
letter
to-
ordering him to
think-
that he would be the next Acharya or something.
How
Indicating.
about just a letter asking him how he
Letter,
feels?
but Narayan, I would like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why do you call us materialists when we're following the injunction about accepting a guru, when like the standard that you're setting is the Sikh standard of accepting Shastra as guru?
What? I accept Prabhupada as guru.
We're
Right, yeah,
accepting-
Do you have a
he is your
problem
guru.
with
He
that?
gave you initiation.
His books
Do you
are
have a
his form,
problem?
according to
Do
you.
you have a problem with my accepting the person who gave me Diksha, Prabhupada, as my guru?
No,
No,
he's
that-
your guru.
Established that he
So
is
why
your
are
guru.
you saying I'm a Sikh? I'm not a Sikh.
Okay, I got
No,
one question.
He's comparing
Please
the
answer.
standards.
Matthew Prabhu, Ananda Prabhu. How
Yeah.
did you come to Krishna consciousness?
By hearing about hearing the Bhagavad Gita, about the book itself. I actually read an English translation, and then later it was by chance that I come across Srila Prabhupada's book and realized how much I didn't get out of the English.
Right, through
Translation,
Prabhupada's books, because of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is the guru, initiating Diksha Guru.
Exactly.
That's not a sound conclusion. So I read any other guru's
The same
books.
applies for any of the disciples of the bogus gurus. They haven't come to the Krishna conscious by reading their books. They come to Krishna conscious by reading Prabhupada's books.
Right.
Right.
We've also been reading the books of Rupa Goswami and the 6 Goswamis, everybody, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, we've read that. Does that automatically make those people our initiators?
But Prabhupada himself, it's an instruction of Prabhupada. He
This
said
is
that he
getting a
would
little
be initiating through his books. It's a
How
written
many-
statement. He spoke it.
Let's see.
So, Matthew, how many letters did Srila Prabhupada write to Krishna Balaram, and how many letters did Krishna Balaram write to Srila Prabhupada?
That I don't know.
What
Well,
is
did he write
what is
any?
the significance of having letters? I mean,
It's
sure,
because letters
you know, he gives
from
him
Prabhupada are
instructions.
filled with personal instructions.
He gives
He
us
wrote me.
instructions.
He wrote me a
That's to
dozen
the
letters.
neophytes. All of the neophytes, they have letters. They have instructions because they need instructions. A person who was born already self-realized doesn't need those same instructions. Doesn't need letters. They can communicate to Prabhupada telepathically very
Okay.
easily.
To tell you the other Banu Prabhu, is Ramachandra still on the program?
Yeah, but thing
He's-
is on.
No, he's
Yeah,
not
he's
muted.
Here. I'm still here. What's going on? I'm listening to the whole conversation. I'm just
Okay,
observing.
Ramachandra, can you resolve this issue? They say Krishna Bala is too advanced to have received a letter from Srila Prabhupada.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I'm just saying because of his the caliber of his consciousness, perhaps he didn't need the same degree of instructions as the neophyte, Western-born, low-birth
Okay.
disciples
And I've asked these
who were not born in
gentlemen,
Brahminical families.
I've asked these gentlemen, you're not born in a Brahminical family. I asked
I
these
didn't say
gentlemen.
that. I said the person who has the qualifications, who's not, you know, didn't receive a letter. He was born in a Brahminical family. So what is the need to have letters and instructions from Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada told him that he was already a guru. He wouldn't initiate him like
Who did he tell that to?
years.
Who did he say that to?
Krishna Balaram Swami. He said
Who
that
else?
he
who
said
else
that
was
you're
there?
already a guru. You don't need initiation. And
Who
it took him
else
5
was
years to
there?
get his initiation.
Who else was there?
Who else was there? I'll have to
Yeah.
find out. But he did the initiation one-on-one, and he chanted on Swamiji's he chanted on his own beads, gave him back to him. He's the only disciple who's had a one-on-one initiation, and the only disciple who's
That is not
chanted on his
true.
own beads
There
and
are
given his
plenty-
beads back to him.
There are plenty of disciples that had one-on-one initiation.
What I'm saying is,
But also the 3 rounds.
he gave him, yeah, it was
What?
very, it was
He
a
just
private.
chanted 3 rounds?
Yeah,
he
instead
chanted-
of 3 beads, he chanted 3 rounds. So 108 times what he did for others.
You're turning this guy into a cult of some sort. So the thing is that
Not necessarily.
If he
at
is
all.
fake, I would like him to be brought down. But until that is proven, it's it all.
so it's your job. It's your job.
Yeah.
But
So what-
I
So
want
what you
to
do
see.
is
I want to see.
look,
don't get into it.
Okay,
Let time.
can you tell
time
me?
decide and
I
let time.
asked this
Let time do
question
it.
and you
Yeah,
can you
exactly.
answer my simple question? Why
Sure. Go
wasn't
ahead.
Krishna Balaram Swami? Why did he not tell anybody that Prabhupada was being poisoned?
He didn't really know that he was being poisoned until later on.
Bullshit! If he's Trikalagya, he knew that he was being poisoned. Narayan Maharaj said years later that he always knew that Prabhupada was being poisoned.
What if he knew that that was the best course of action to allow it to happen?
Oh, well, certainly that
Look,
would
check
make
it out. Check it out. If Prabhupada will allow himself to be poisoned, why would anybody challenge that?
Good God. You don't
Why
believe?
would anybody challenge that? Like, okay, Prabhupada is taking this poisoning because his disciples are wanting that, and you have somebody that okay, he's taking the poison now. That's basically you see it this way. You're taking a bullet. He took a bullet for the parampara. That's the way I see it. And if he wasn't poisoned, well, ideally he wouldn't be poisoned. But
if he wasn't poisoned, his astrologer said he would live 10 years longer. which means he would have completed all those books.
Excuse
Right.
me, excuse
No.
me, it's the meeting is come to an end. It's been 2 hours.
Okay, I agree. And by the way, Rupa Manjari and Ramachandra Prabhu, are you there, Ramachandra?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, we're listening.
Okay, I sent that email, was just partial, but it's the beginning of the Varnashram inquiry
Okay.
for practical application.
All right. I'll take a read tomorrow then. So Prabhus, how you guys want to continue? Narayan Prabhu, do you want to continue the discussion or do you want to continue it?
No, tomorrow. But the question which I have of Matthew and of Bhaktiananda, why do you come to this site, which you know what our position is and what we're doing and why we're doing it, and that we are doing it? Why do you not either participate or not come to it? Why are you coming to this site to argue against the conclusions that we have reached as the League for 10,000 years? Why? Why do you come here to disagree with our conclusions?
Well, you yourself said that you welcome people to challenge.
But you haven't challenged. All you've done is you haven't challenged
First of all.
anything.
And second of all, I started really with a basic, point that, if we're listening to somebody like, because you're a senior godbrother, taking your word as if it's Prabhupada's word, that's putting you on a pedestal.
Name one thing I've said different than Prabhupada.
What did Prabhupada said that the parampara would end with him?
He didn't say it would end
Prabhupada
with
said
him.
that he would be the
Okay.
initiating guru through his books.
Yes.
I'm asking genuine questions,
Why
and
do
then
you-
I
why
got
do
to
you-
the subject
Why do
matter
you
that's a little
disagree?
more sensitive.
Why do you disagree with Prabhupada?
What did Prabhupada say that the parampara would end?
Where did Prabhupada say that it doesn't end? It continues through his books.
When have we ever disagreed with Prabhupada?
What?
When did we disagree with Prabhupada?
Right now.
How?
You asked
Prabhupada
when
said that
Prabhupada said,
initiation would be continuing through his books. If
Yeah.
you are,
okay,
you're
and
How many
disagreeing with
times
that.
did he say that?
he said, you will read and utilize. And then he said, my touch is only the formality.
I feel that if that was the case, that he wanted the people to take only initiation of his books, he would have said that more than one time.
He said it several times.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, yeah.
Ananda Prabhu, 1 minute before we break up.
Why not do the research and prove that he did it only one time?
Sure, yeah, just show me where he wrote that.
Okay.
You
So
find it.
let's give the devotee that has not talked. He wants to say something. So
Okay.
Yes, good.
Please speak.
Ananda Dev Prabhu. See, Prabhupada never said that he is the last, in the disciplic succession. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that.
I thought somebody else was going to speak right now.
That's him.
I thought we were ending the meeting.
Well, let's just let this
in a
personality
minute.
speak.
In a minute we'll end. So it doesn't mean that.
I am not in the mood to hear more blasphemy of Srila Prabhupada from people that are following a person claiming to be his successor.
Look, this is somebody else. This is somebody who hasn't had a chance to speak. So please let him speak.
I'm so sorry. But let me just say, so I wanted someone to blaspheme.
Nobody's blaspheming Prabhupada.
Going against Prabhupada.
That's your conclusion.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm not blaspheming Prabhupada. What I want to say is, if there is any gap between one acharya and other acharyas, although physically they may not be connected, that doesn't mean the disciplic succession is coming to an end. In our succession, there are so many places where there are physical gaps, but that doesn't mean the disciplic succession is going to come to an end.
That's
Is
my
that
point
so?
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you see somebody on the horizon who is likely to be an acharya besides Krishna Balaram?
I mean, we can't rule it. I mean, yeah, we can't rule it out, but Prabhupada has not told anyone. But I mean, it's all, he told, the Prabhupada told, who I have left this thing to Lord Chaitanya. He will take care of it at the moment.
Right. Jai. That's my
Okay.
ultimate conclusion there.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Thank you
Hare
for saying
Krishna,
that.
Prabhu.
Hare Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
End it.
Thank you
Hare
very
Bol.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
I just wanna appreciate everybody. The fact that we've been having a discussion. I don't mean to be hostile or make dry challenges or anything. I really just trying to, come to like better develop a conclusion or help people, make their own
Who's
evaluations,
speaking?
analysis
Ananda?
like that.
Ananda.
That's my only intention. That
Who's
if that's
speaking?
the case, people do their
Yes.
own evaluations and they,
What's that?
they should be able to come to the proper conclusion. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to bring some indicated proof. You have to bring some Guru Shastra Sadhu. Where is any of those? All you have is opinion. So why
We
not
have
bring something?
Shastra. We have
Where?
we have
Where
Guru.
is Krishna Balaram mentioned
I've
in
given you all
Shastra?
the arguments. You didn't answer to them. I haven't given you the proof, and Nana and Prabhu has given stated scripture. I have stated statements from Prabhupada.
Okay. Rupa Manjari Prabhu
So
wants
will
to end. So let's end it. Hari Bol.
Andrew
Hare
explain
Krishna.
Hare
All